Hello everyone and welcome to my morning report analysis videos on Friday 30th of November with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantec Markets. We've got the G20 today and the markets are pretty much looking forward to that. I think there's a degree of consolidation that we've got through Forex certainly. A shade of dollar strength coming through and not really seen through the dollar index mind, but still you can see that where euro is a touch lower, sterling a touch lower, but you look at the fact that dollar yen is basically flat. There is a touch of dollar strength, but nothing too significant. The meeting between Presidents Trump and Xi of China is going to be the key factor through this G20 meeting. Are they going to be able to come to some sort of an agreement, or say for example a roadmap of an agreement? I think could be used as the outlook there. So it'd be interesting to see if that actually is the case, because then we could start to see the possible end in sight of this escalation of the trade dispute between US and China, and that would be the key takeaway there. But just in front of this meeting, we've still got the equity markets that are dropping actually away. We had overnight the China manufacturing PMI data that disappointed. Actually, the China manufacturing PMI fell to 50.0, below expectations, and that is basically no growth in the sector whatsoever. No contraction, mind you, but still no growth. And risk sentiment has taken a little bit of a hit on the back of that. The Aussie underperforming a shade today. As I said, the dollar has stabilised to an extent. You've got yields which have been tracking lower in the last session or so in the wake of those comments from Fed Chair Powell. And the Fed minutes last night, the FOMC minutes were released, and didn't sort of have too many surprises in them. The markets are set up for a December rate hike from the Fed, but it'd be interesting to see what the Fed then starts to do, because there was hints that they could start to discuss the potential of slowing maybe the monetary policy tightening path. But it'll be interesting to see how that comes out in the December meeting. But for now, yields are fairly sort of subdued, I think. Yeah, the G20 today is going to be the key factor, and that's going to be sort of coming out over the weekend, really. So that's why we're seeing a little bit of dollar strength, but generally a little bit of a risk negative outlook today. Now, in terms of data points, we've got the Eurozone inflation data expected to drop back to 2% on the headline basis, expected to stay as is on the core on 1.1%. Also, Eurozone unemployment expected to drop back to 8% and that's at 10 o'clock. So my chart of the day is the Australian dollar. Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar are two currencies that I'm really looking at as a potential for recoveries against the US, and certainly the Aussie dollar in recent weeks has been improving quite significantly. You can see that where the market has now broken that downtrend that had been intact throughout 2018, is now sort of on the brink of breaking through the resistance. 73.10 was the neckline of a head and shoulders reversal, or head and shoulders base pattern that would ultimately complete a 3-month base, and that would suggest recovery in the coming months. But it needs to see a decisive breakout above 73.70, I would say. That's the November high, and it didn't quite make that move into the close yesterday, and it's just dropped back a bit on the negative risk off outlook today. But I think that corrections are going to be seen as a chance to buy. You've got these momentum indicators which are pulling nicely higher. You've got the trend higher over the last sort of 5 weeks or so, and it's pretty much positively configured on the momentum indicators on the hourly chart as well. They dropped back towards that 40 level, but it's just an unwinding move, I think, and I think it's going to be setting up for a nice little buying opportunity. You've got to pivot around 72.75, which was the breakout over the last couple of weeks. That's a basis of support now, and I think that anything around that would be used as a little buying opportunity. So with that in mind, I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I will speak to you later.